Took in my 4-year-old daughter after years of absence. Now she's living with a stranger trying to be her dad. I missed the first 4 years of my daughter's life, and now she's living with me. I got a girl pregnant when I was 20. She was 18. We weren't in a serious relationship, more like two young, scared kids who were hooking up over the summer. Ended up with way more than we were ready for. When she told me she was pregnant, I freaked out. My parents told me to stay out of it. They said it would ruin my life, my future. That I wasn't ready, and getting involved would just make things harder for me, for her, for everyone. They stepped in, hired a lawyer, and started paying child support on my behalf. They told me to move on, and I did. At least on the surface. I finished college. Got a decent job. From the outside, everything looks fine. But in the back of my mind, I always knew there was something missing. I've thought about her all the time over the last 4 years, as much as I tried not to. My daughter. I never met her, not even when she was born. I wondered what she looked like, what her voice sounded like, if she liked music or cartoons or dinosaurs or dolls. I always meant to reach out someday, but shame kept getting in the way. I didn't know how to face her or her mom or what I'd even say. I knew I didn't deserve a place in her life. And then, a few weeks ago, I got a message from her on social media. Her mom left an abusive relationship and ended up in a shelter. She's doing everything she can to stay safe and get back on her feet, but she couldn't keep our daughter with her. And there's no safe or available family on her side. Her mom is an alcoholic, so her parents' house isn't safe. She's very paranoid about this guy coming after her and wanted our daughter. I feel like I liar calling her our daughter, BTW, far away from where she currently is. She asked me if I'd temporarily take care of our daughter, and that I don't need to even identify as dad. We talked on the phone after initially talking online. Everybody advised me against getting involved now, but I feel like this is the least I can do. I was probably awake for 2 days straight trying to decide what to do. So now, my 4-year-old daughter is living with me. 3 hours from her mom and her home, in a home she's never seen before, with a man she doesn't know. She's small, sweet, cautious. She doesn't talk much, but she watches everything. She asked me if she's going to stay here now, and when I said yes, for a while, she just nodded and went back to coloring. No crying. No big reaction. That kind of quiet acceptance from a kid her age is devastating. I didn't know she had a peanut allergy until I read it in the folder the caseworker handed me. I didn't know her favorite color, it's purple. I didn't know that her favorite food was mac and cheese or that she hums to herself when she draws. I missed all of it. I didn't even know that I needed a car seat for a 4-year-old and had to get one when I drove out there to pick her up. I feel like an imposter playing dad. I know absolutely nothing, and of course have anyone I know with kids on speed dial right now. Everything I should have learned over the past 4 years is hitting me all at once. I thought I had my life together, but now it feels like I'm starting over with someone who has every right not to trust me. I know I can't undo the past. I know I failed her, badly. But I'm here now and I'm trying, just completely clueless. Update 1. Hi, so I posted around 2 weeks ago about my 4-year-old daughter coming to live with me and really us meeting for the first time. I didn't expect to receive so many responses, and I think I needed all of the support more than I even realized at the time. I was honestly nervous to post because I figured I'd just get more judgment about not being involved in her life until now over any actual advice, and I'm not saying that judgment wouldn't have been warranted. The amount of support and encouragement I've received here and from all of the people who have sent me DMs has been really surprising and I'm thankful for it. Sorry, this is another long post coming. Life has been really busy the past few weeks, so I haven't really had the mental energy to come on and make an update or respond into any posts, although I've been lurking and reading posts here lately. The first week she was here, I took off work. The next week, I worked from home, but not much work got done. Since then, I've mainly been working from home and actually doing work, but I have had to go in a few days and take her with me since I had no other option. I took her in on days when few people were there. The situation is a little weird when it comes to qualifying to paternity leave or FMLA. She's not my foster kid, she's not a new baby, and she's not a newly adopted kid. Regardless, since this was so unexpected, I'm not really in a position to take several weeks off at a reduced or absent salary. So, I need to find daycare ASAP. I feel really guilty about it. Her whole life has been turned upside down and I think she's starting to get comfortable with me, and now I'm going to put her in another new situation with a bunch of other new people. At the same time, it also can't be that great for her to mainly only be around me all the time, right? I've already been warned that we'll probably be on a waiting list for daycare no matter where we go. Is that true? And how long are we talking? Somebody at work who lives over on my side of town recommended a daycare that would work great since I pass it on my way to work. I looked up the reviews and decided it was a no. She won't be entering kindergarten in the fall, so I guess finding a preschool would be best, but does preschool even run in the summer? I'm hoping to find a part-time thing to save money and because over the summer months I can work a few days a week from home. It looks like many daycares around here offer part-time options. I just don't really like the sound of any of them. I think she's probably doing as well as she can be doing given the situation. We have more of a routine in place now, which I think helps both of us. She has her own bed now. She talks to me a lot more without me having to start the conversation or ask her a question. Sometimes the things she says or the questions she asks surprise me, like when she stood up and just yelled, "I love farting." Out of nowhere. Then she asks me things that make me nervous, like, "Did you have a daddy when you were little?" I mean, can a 4-year-old fish for information in that way? She still doesn't know that I'm her dad, and I don't really want her to ask. I don't really know that she'd put anything together like that, but it still makes me nervous. We're still in touch with her mom daily. We met up with her this weekend. I could tell that her mom was putting on a brave face, but she didn't want to leave her. I thought she might tell me she wanted to take her back with her. Well, I know that's what she wanted, but she didn't act on it. Then when we went back to my place afterwards, my sort of had a 2-hour-long meltdown. Didn't know a kid could scream for that long and that loud. She threw stuff everywhere, wouldn't take a bath, wouldn't go to bed. I didn't know what to do, so I just stayed calm and pretended like it was no big deal. I just tried to ignore it, and eventually she calmed down enough to pick all of the stuff up that she threw around. It's the first time she's ever acted like that, and I didn't expect it. I suggested to her mom that maybe she should try to move out here, which is 3 hours from where she's at now. Maybe a new area would be good for her, and it would get her away from her boyfriend/ex-BF, whatever he is. I'm not inviting her to come stay with me, but I guess if she needed to temporarily stay somewhere very short term. She's nervous to leave her job because I guess they've always been very supportive of her and flexible. She also doesn't completely trust that I'm committed to being an actual present father in our daughter's life, which I can totally understand. We've had some serious conversations about it. I've apologized. I've told her that I understand I'm going to have to prove myself, and thankfully she is willing to give me a chance, but she says it'll take a long time for her to feel like she can really rely on me and before she'll be ready to tell our daughter that I'm her dad. She said it might take a year before she's ready to tell her that. Update 2. First, thank you all again for the support and advice. There's no way I would have made it through these past several weeks without semi-anonymous internet strangers being so real and kind. I haven't had much time for social media, or sleep. Apparently 4-year-olds don't require nearly as much as I naively thought, but I wanted to sit down tonight and give another update. So much happens every single day, most of it just little things, boring things I wouldn't have noticed 2 months ago. But these days, it feels like nothing is little. Every breakfast, every wrangled shoe, every meltdown in a Walmart parking lot, everything is different now, but one thing I've actually started to realize is, that doesn't always mean bad. Sometimes it just means new. And new, even when it's terrifying, can be good. The first and biggest thing, daycare. Or, more accurately, the quest for a place for her to go so I can work and not lose my mind. Quick answer for others in my shoes: yes, every single daycare, preschool, and child wrangling service in driving distance has a waitlist. Sometimes I think there are more children than adults in this city. After calling somewhere north of 10 places and getting politely told they'd call me back, never, I finally got a break. A neighbor heard about my situation. I guess news travels when a clueless single dad and a very small purple-obsessed person move in next door, and it turns out her cousin runs a licensed in-home daycare. She had an open spot because one little boy just started kindergarten. Her cousin felt for us and gave us a trial week to see if it was a fit. The first drop-off was, well, there were tears, mostly from me pretending to be stoic while dying inside. She clung to my leg and buried her face in my jeans and whispered, "I don't want to go," and I wanted to call the whole thing off and let her be my office shadow forever. The daycare lady, Miss K, thank God, is a magician. She knelt right down, commented approvingly on the teddy bear backpack, really a plush in disguise, and offered to let her feed the pet guinea pig in the playroom. The magic words. I stood in the hallway listening to her tentative voice as she squeaked out, "Does he bite?" and watched as Miss K unlocked all the kid whispering secrets I don't have. That evening, she didn't want to leave. The guinea pig's name is Meatball, in case you were wondering. She also made a best friend, Ava, whom she now refers to exclusively as Ava the Queen, and I'm pretty sure they've formed a toddler monarchy based on stickers and who gets to be Elsa at dress-up time. By the third day, she was reciting the daily schedule to me by heart, and apparently Friday is Pancake Day, which is now an unbreakable, sacred holiday in our household. The next elephant in the room is her mom. We're still doing daily check-ins, video calls most evenings, sometimes just a text if the day's been chaotic. I want to give her space to talk to her daughter, but some days I feel like a courier, shuttling love back and forth. We did another in-person visit, this time meeting halfway at a park. It went actually really well at first. The three of us played on the swings, 8-packed PBJ, I checked labels 5 times, no peanuts anywhere, and she lit up in a way I hadn't seen before. It was strange, in a good way, being 3 instead of 2. At the end, though, there were questions, lots of when can we all go home together? From the small one, and not a lot of answers. Her mom and I had our most honest conversation yet, standing a little apart while she ran around shrieking with joy. She told me she's been going to meetings, working with a counselor, and is looking for an apartment in my city. She's worried about uprooting her life but feels like she has no real ties left where she is. She asked, "Do you want to do this together, for real?" For a split second I thought she meant getting back together, but she clarified, "Co-parenting, both of us present, not just trading off." I told her I was scared but I wanted to try. That I wasn't just filling space anymore, that I kept thinking in terms of school sign-ups and dentist appointments and what will she be for Halloween? And not, just until things get better for you. I think that was the first time she really believed me. We'll see. I don't expect trust overnight. The toughest moment yet? The night my daughter crawled into my bed at 3 a.m., crying so softly I almost missed it. She said she had a dream we all lived in one house and she woke up and the house was empty and even Meatball wasn't there. That nearly killed me. I told her I was there, and that even if she was scared, she wouldn't wake up alone. We don't talk about dad or mom yet, just names. But I'm here, and she sees that, I hope. A very different side to all of this is my parents, her grandparents, who, up until now, have barely even acknowledged her. I've been angry at them for a long time, not just for persuading me to stay out of things 4 years ago but for acting like it never happened. But my mom has called 3 times now, each time a little more tentative, and finally said, we'd like to meet her. I told her not yet. I don't trust them, and I don't want to add more confusion. But it feels like maybe that door is open, a sliver of possibility I didn't even know I wanted. There's still a lot of guilt. Every time I see her make friends, tell a joke, make up weird songs to herself, I think about all the firsts I missed. But every day, there's more now and a little less before, and I'm starting to believe maybe, just maybe, I can be her dad for real, even if it's on her timeline, not mine. There's more, there's always more, but for now I'm just grateful, tired, terrified, hopeful. Today she told me she loves farting, dinosaurs, pancakes, and Ava the Queen and then handed me a picture of the two of us, both with very curly hair, not accurate for me, but, hey, artistic license. I stuck it to the fridge next to a to-do list and realized, for the first time, that this messy, loud, beautiful chaos, feels like home. Update 3. Since that last update, everything's picked up speed. The days feel so much denser. People said kids keep you busy, but it's not busy in the way you expect. It's like 20 little stories happening all at once, endless discovery, her and me, both. Let me start with what's happened. For starters, my daughter, she started calling me by my first name plus guy, which is weirdly endearing, has almost completely shed her deer in the headlights look. She meets my eyes now. She invited me, the guy, to her royal sticker parade last Friday in the living room. She made crowns for us out of printer paper and stuck them to our heads with masking tape. Mine had a dinosaur, hers a glittery Ava the Queen sticker, of course. We paraded around the kitchen chanting no peanuts, just pancakes. With that insane, shrill joy kids manufacture for no reason. It might be the most fun I've ever had. Daycare, she's a convert. Meatball, the guinea pig, is now the star of almost every after-school story I get, which range from Meatball doing his taxes, to Meatball defeating evil monsters. Kids' imaginations are unhinged, I'm noticing. Ava the Queen is apparently awarding princess points, of which I have 0, because I can't do the twirl and curtsy just right. I keep losing points, but I keep trying. Last week, something big, her first ever bring someone to share day at daycare. She could bring a grown-up and a thing she liked. I half expected her to pick Miss K, or Ava the Queen, who, according to her, is technically a grown-up, but Friday morning, she announced, Guy, can you come show my T-Rex? Her favorite dinosaur stuffy. I worried about being that awkward adult. Do I sit on a beanbag? Is there a hand-raising protocol? But she decided I had to sit crisscross, which apparently means trying to regain some flexibility while a band of 4-year-olds stares at your knees. She introduced me as this is Guy, who likes dinosaurs and doesn't cry when other people are watching. Thanks, kid. Her show and tell was basically a TED talk about how T-Rexes are big and have tiny hands but can still give hugs. The teachers thanked me for coming, but honestly, I was the one who needed it. Her mom came for a longer visit the next day. We kept it low-key, with lunch at the splash park. It was the first time that all 3 of us navigated something more than a rushed meetup. Her mom's starting to look lighter, if that makes sense. She got a job interview here, so there's a very real chance she'll move soon. We actually sat and had coffee in the sun while our daughter ran around shrieking after Bubbles. She told me, point blank, you seem different. I asked what she meant. You're not waiting for the next step. You're actually here. That might be the kindest thing anyone's said to me in years. Among the more unexpected developments, I talked to a therapist. It started at my daughter's suggestion. She asked why I never talked on the phone to my old parents. I dodged, saying they live far away, but the question stuck with me. My guilt with my parents is so tangled up in everything, and as I try to guide her through this confusing new family, I realized I actually need help untangling it. I started virtual parenting sessions. Thank you, Redditors, for the unwavering get a therapist chorus. In our first session, I told him my biggest fear. I'm so afraid she's just going to suddenly stop trusting me, that I'll mess this up beyond repair. He asked why it always felt so immediate. Was there something that made me think it could blow up overnight? No answer, except I guess I just don't trust myself not to vanish like I did before. I'm working on it. I guess you have to show up for yourself before you can show up for your kid. Who knew? There's been harder stuff too. She started nightmares, maybe from all the upheaval, maybe just 4-year-old stuff. Twice last week, I woke up to her in the doorway with her blanket and T-Rex, asking, "Can I sleep in your bed?" Bringing Meatball was vetoed. Compromise is key, it's humbling, being someone's safe place. I had my first furniture negotiation at 2 a.m., her on one side, T-Rex in the middle, and me clinging to 6 inches of mattress. Worth it. A harder curveball, out of the blue, she got a fever one night. I panicked. I texted her mom, Googled how to tell difference between cold and death fever, and wondered if this was normal. She ended up fine the next day, just a bug, but I haven't felt that helpless in a long time. Her mom checked in every hour and was still comforting, even though I'd been her for 5 seconds compared to 4 years. Makes you realize how long the road back to real co-parenting actually is. The current logistics? Her mom is seriously planning to move here, and we're talking about how to make that work without confusing our daughter. We both think it's time for her to know the truth, at least about who Guy is now, because she started to notice that we're acting more like a team. The mom has asked if I want to be there when they tell her. Honestly, yes, but I'm terrified. What if I break this new safety net she's found with me? I told her I'd be there whenever she's ready. And, okay, this one is straight out of a movie. I got a letter in the mail addressed to Guy Dad, my name written in pink marker letters, covered in stickers. From my parents. They mailed a photo of me at age 4, big hair, missing teeth, captioned, "You always loved dinosaurs too." Inside was a note, "We want to know her, when you're ready. Let's talk." For the first time in years, I called my mom. We talked haltingly for nearly an hour, mostly about nothing, weather, gardens, family recipes, but at the end, she said, "Sometimes you only get one chance. I hope we all use it." I have no idea where this goes, but it's something. I'm not saying it's a happily ever after. There's still paperwork hell. I was late submitting daycare medical forms, cue panic, work stress, and random mini meltdowns over whether a dinosaur can wear pajamas to the park. Answer, obviously yes. But it's also little hands in mine, a toddler monarchy, meatball tax fraud, and sticky pancakes. Before, everything felt like a waiting room for my real life. Now it's here, messy and loud and glittery and terrifying, and, I can't believe I'm saying this, really good. The other night, while brushing her teeth, glitter toothpaste, because of course, she looked up at me and said, "Guy, are we family now?" It was the first time I didn't freeze. I told her, "Yes. All of us." And she grinned, flecks of glitter all over her mouth, and said, "Okay, but you have to practice your princess twirl." Update 4. First, thank you for the wild, unruly tidal wave of encouragement. A handful of you caught some things I missed and gave advice I didn't know I desperately needed, especially about honesty, and about letting this be messy. I needed the reminder that messy isn't the opposite of progress. If anything, it's just what progress looks like when you add in kids, court dates, and a guinea pig named after an Italian entree. A month has passed since I last checked in, and it feels like a whole new chapter. Maybe the first chapter where I'm not faking it every second. The biggest, scariest, weirdest, best update, her mom officially moved to the city. Not to my apartment, not even the same neighborhood. We both agreed boundaries are healthy, but she found a small but safe place about 15 minutes away. The three of us did a trial run, a Saturday where I dropped my daughter off in the morning, helped hang shelves and build an IKEA bed, then hung awkwardly by the door when it was time to say goodbye. I never realized how much a tiny person could upend every feeling you thought you ever figured out, until I shut her mom's door behind me and just stood in the hallway, not sure if I was relieved or gutted. Turns out, it was both. Co-parenting in real life is a circus act, not a relay race. The schedule we worked out is 3 days here, 3 days there, with one full family day a week. That felt ambitious, but something about how my daughter started referring to everything, her drawings, shoes, glitter toothpaste, as ours instead of mine or yours made me believe maybe it really could work. The first family day we hit the Science Museum and made it halfway through the dinosaur exhibit before meltdown number 57. Dinosaurs, it turns out, are scary when they're the size of cars and roar every 18 minutes on a loop. By the end, I was carrying her out piggyback, while her mom collected the fossil dig kit that will forever fill my vacuum filter with mystery sand. But she slept all the way home, arms wrapped around my neck, and I realized how much trust has grown here. The big talk, the "who am I, really?" talk, actually happened early last week. I wanted to wait. Her mom said she felt ready. Our daughter, though, forced the issue. She came home from daycare with a Mother's Day card. And 2 others, one for the guy and one for the dad who lives in Charlotte cause Ava says everyone has 2 dads. She asked, "Are you my dad? Or are you my guy?" There was no pause, no drama. Her mom and I looked at each other, realized we couldn't script this, and just told her as gently as we could, "I am your dad. I didn't get to be with you all the time before, but starting now, I will be here, and I love you so much." My mind went blank, prepared for tears, anger, confusion. She stared at me, blinked, looked at her mom, and then asked if that meant I could be her goofy dad for dress-up day on Friday. She explained, with the brutal directness only a 4-year-old has, that I already act like a dad, but now I had dad powers. This has included, but is not limited to, fixing the sticky flap on her Purple Rain boots, telling bedtime stories with real dinosaur facts and fake princess facts, and approving the purchase of another tube of glitter toothpaste. Daycare did a Father's Day thing, which was both adorable and a punch to the gut. She made me a silly card with a stick figure family of 3, her, me, her mom, holding hands with a tiny, lumpy guinea pig between us. Above it, she dictated, "This is my guy. He is my dad. Meatball is the baby." The strange afterglow of that week, I got a call from my dad. Not my mom, she'd been doing the cautious, hopeful outreach, but my dad, the grand old architect of the just pretend it never happened family tradition. He told me he wanted to visit, bring some family things. It was awkward. My words caught in my chest when I tried to tell him that it's complicated and that his granddaughter is a little person, not a symbol or a secret. In the end, he came for a Saturday lunch. My daughter was wary at first, but, God bless her extrovert's heart, she ended up giving him a full tour of my house, with the guy, and Meatball. You can see him on Fridays. My dad looked lost for a while and then just let go a bit. By the end, he was lying on the carpet, being assigned dinosaur roles in a plastic toy soap opera, and later he handed me a tiny box with a crumpled photo of me at 4, riding a terrifying big wheel. He said, "I missed out on a lot by being scared for you. Don't be scared here." It felt like an earthquake in a thunderstorm. Everything shifted a little, then settled. The hardest part so far? Real-life logistics. Court stuff to formalize custody without burning bridges or terrifying our daughter. Navigating medical records and insurance, and who gets called from daycare if she has a fever. Me, this time, who spent most of an afternoon cradling a limp, sniffling kid and reading dinosaur books until she slept. There's also the double parent calendar, which has about as much white space as a Jackson Pollock painting. But every day, it feels more like this is what life is supposed to feel like, not like I'm just patching leaks in a sinking boat. Some highlights, in case you're wondering if healing lives at the small scale. She wrote her first sentence. "I love Meatball and my daddy guy." Spelled my DGHI. I cried about it 3 different times. She lost her first tooth, and demanded a ferry tax to be paid in purple stickers, not money. She started swim class, and we all sat on the bleachers together, cheering, while she conquered her terror of the water slide, bribed, a bit, with meatball-shaped cookies. I woke up this morning with her and T-Rex on one side, and her having drawn a purple heart on my face with, thankfully, washable marker. Every step forward is 2 steps sideways, and sometimes a tumble backward. But her laughter fills the rooms in a way that makes up for every long silence from those first weeks. I'm not sure there's a perfect ending here. But as I write this, she's asleep in her own bed, and I know, finally, really know, that the second chance I never deserved is the one I'm getting, right now. And I'm finally not so scared I'll waste it. Update 5. Sim writing this with ice cream on my shoes, strawberry, official rating, almost as good as purple, the distinct smell of sunscreen and sidewalk chalk in the living room, and Meatball snoring in my lap. Life has not slowed down, but it's different. The anxious edge isn't as sharp. These last 6 weeks have catapulted us beyond anything I thought could happen so soon. So here's the big, technicolor, sticky-fingered update. We're officially a family. Not just in the day-to-day survival mode, I mean, on paper, signed by a judge 2 Tuesdays ago, after 3 months of paperwork, home visits, co-parenting meetings, and more how would you handle this hypothetical interviews than a presidential candidate. So now, it's real even in government terms, joint legal custody, joint physical custody, emergency contact lists all filled in, everyone with medical authority and their birthdays finally right in all the files. We went to the courthouse together. Her mom and I were anxious. My daughter wore her court skirt, red, rainbow tutu, and asked if there would be judge snacks. Afterwards we celebrated with a pancake breakfast just like Meatball likes, and she declared us team Sparkle Pancakes, forever. I have trouble describing the relief in that. Things with her mom have gotten, well, as unmessy as 2 people with a lot of history and no script can get. We're not together, but we're not just awkward handoff partners anymore, either. We text every morning. We sometimes eat dinner together, and talk about stuff other than the logistics of drop-offs. She's doing better, in a deeper way. She's been consistently sober for over 5 months, has that new work rhythm, and, maybe the best part, joined the parent committee at daycare. I never saw that version of her before. The other day, standing in the kitchen, she said, "I think this might be the first time in my life I trust another adult." I told her it goes both ways. But let me rewind. Because since my last update, there have been tiny earthquakes shaking up every bit of our life. First, my daughter's 5 now. She turned 5 a week ago, her first birthday since we rocked this strange family together. It started, of course, with her waking me up at 5:09 a.m. I'm 5 now. 5. Is my brain different? Is Meatball 5? She insisted on a family party, which in her mind meant me, her mom, Ava the Queen, and her very tolerant mom, Miss K from daycare, one, accidental uncle, and anyone who can sing happy birthday but not too loud. Cake was purple with tiny plastic dinosaurs stampeding along the side. Meatball got a carrot candle. I learned children's party chaos is not a spectator sport. There was a dance battle, mostly her and Ava the Queen, and I have actual video proof of me losing to a 4-year-old doing the robot. Her mom gave her a necklace with a tiny purple heart, and in the middle of the singing, my daughter loudly announced, "I have 2 homes and 2 beds and 3 pancakes and 1,000 loves." Everyone cried, except her, of course, she just ate more frosting. Her new thing is project days. She wants to plan everything herself: menus, outings, toy building, even rest time. We made a list: library, splash park, dinosaur movie marathon, real T-Rexes, not silly ones, and build a fort out of all the blankets. My living room will never fully recover. At the library, she told the children's librarian, unprompted, "That's my dad. We both like dinosaur books and pancakes." I think my heart tried to leave my chest. That, more than the paperwork, made things feel permanent. Co-parenting is wild. Some days it's handoffs in the pouring rain, some days it's long conversations during museum visits, figuring out how to handle her stubborn streak: "I won't wear shoes if they're not fancy shoes," which somehow means rain boots year-round. Her mom and I had our first, big panicky disagreement, over whether it was okay for her to have a sleepover at Ava the Queen's. We talked it out, got frazzled, and then settled on calling to check in every hour. She survived, of course. We did, too. And, this still feels strange to say, my parents have actually joined the rest of the story. It took months to get here, but we all met at the local park. My daughter brought both T-Rex and Meatball, as emotional armor, and greeted them with her usual, "Direct, are you old 'cause you have white hair?" My dad looked so nervous I thought he might faint, but my mom went full grandma, hugs and all. It was a little awkward, then a little more normal. She taught my daughter how to play red light, green light, and now I am forced into regularly scheduled races across my apartment. Later, at dinner, my dad sat next to her, quietly teaching her restaurant math so she could order 1 broccoli, 2 fries. He even apologized to me outside for not having guts before. I believed him. But I don't want to make it sound like everything is fairy dust and reconciliation. There's still so many hard, ugly moments. Meltdowns when it's time to switch houses still happen, though they're shorter. Just 4 more hugs has become a routine. She had a night terror so intense I spent an hour lying next to her, counting stars on the ceiling. I made up the numbers, which she always corrects in the morning. "Dad, that was 54, not 93,000. Her mom still struggles with letting go, and sometimes I do, too. We had to file a police report after her ex tried calling her. It shook her up, but knowing we're all safe and supported helped. Some scars are slow to fade. Therapy is now a family deal. I do my own sessions, her mom comes with for parenting as a team appointments, and our daughter, I'm getting used to calling her that, not the kid or my daughter who just came to live with me, meets weekly with a play therapist who has more sneakers than I do. Progress, we're learning, is not always visible, but some days, she leaves therapy singing, which is the new marker I hang hope on. Daycare still rules our calendar. Ava the Queen is now a full-fledged regular at our house. By regular I mean she and my daughter convinced me to set up a cardboard box castle in the basement, which is now also Meatball's vacation home. They made a museum out of rocks found at the splash park and spent a rainy afternoon labeling every single one. Purple, rock, purple marker, dinosaur bone, small stick, dad's toe stubber. Recently, she's invented bedtime interviews. Each night, she asks a very important question. Her words: "Are grown-ups allowed to have best friends? Is Meatball magic or just regular weird? Will I remember all the days when I'm big?" Sometimes, I don't know the answer. But I promise her we'll figure it out, together. The best part? Yeah, I'm allowing myself a best part. I realized I stopped waiting for real life to begin. I'm in it, all the way. When she called me dad in front of Ava the Queen, when she drew a picture of the 3 of us, me, her mom, under a rainbow with home above us in 5-year-old all caps, I felt it. When she melted down, threw her shoes, told me I was the worst for making her eat 1 bite of broccoli, and then 10 minutes later called me her favorite dad ever, I let myself believe we're doing this. I keep thinking of all the ways this could have gone wrong, and how many of them were just shadows, real, sharp-edged, but not the only things in the room. I missed 4 years, but every day now, I'm here, learning, screwing up, trying again. She's taught me what it means to be present. Life isn't easier, but it's more vivid, more filled with belonging, than I thought you could earn. Tonight she fell asleep with my hand in hers, purple glitter everywhere, whispering, "Don't let go till I snore." I won't. Not ever again.